Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of my series on the DeathCraft server. My name is Brink, and I see I have a label here. Let me do this quickly just to remove quarry. Delete. Didn't expect that in my intro. But here we go. What I wanted to say was that we are about to do a little project on that hill. And this is a couple of hours after the last episode, and I'll probably upload this very soon after because I didn't like the way the last episode turned out. I really don't. And as few people that see it, the better I'll feel, because you know, the whole thing was planned out great and worked in creative, and then for some reason or another I couldn't get it to work here. And I couldn't figure it out in the episode, but as it turned out, the Wither Skeleton Farm, which was the topic of the last episode, was not working because it didn't send the, let's see, didn't get a skull there, didn't send the items to the auto farm. So let's take a look. So we have full mob essence now, and I got it fixed. The energy is okay, and I've even connected lava power energy, which is a full quarry amount of possible potential energy. And it still runs a little bit slow. I mean, this is pretty good. But yeah, the lava energy, for example, this one is the Break items and energy, which is what I use for the quarry. It's 1500 RF or 150 MJ. Even that connected to here will only make it go a little bit faster. So apparently this auto farm spawner requires a lot of energy. So it's about to get ready to produce another wither skeleton. There it is. And so it's only a little bit better than the energy that I have here, which is fine. I don't need it to go too fast. And the DSU is running out of bones already. We're at 148 from 3000. And the mob essence, I'm sorry, the biofuel tank is climbing. It's about 3 million now, or 2,500,000. No, 2.5 million is what I meant to say. But the mob essence is still growing because these guys are producing so much. So the auto farm will continue pretty much virtually infinitely as long as the server is on. Now let me explain what was going on. The way I had this before, if you'll remember, I had a fluid duct coming out of the valve, which is right above this tesseract at the moment. And that fluid duct was going down to the tesseract, which was down here. And it would work that way, that would be fine. But I had wrenched it so that it was red on the top, and it still didn't flow into the tesseract. And then I had placed a pneumatic inside the fluid duct, and, you know, activated always on condition, and it still wouldn't flow in. The reason is that you don't set the output from a steel tank on a fluid duct. You just leave it alone. As soon as you slap that fluid duct in, it's working. And that I did not know. So let me get rid of this platform. Don't want it here. We're going to be building more floors down here. Around here is where the next floor is. So not today though. Today we have a different project. And I'd like to get started as soon as possible because this next project I have not had an opportunity to build it in creative, so I'm not sure if we're going to go into any problems. So first thing I'd like to do, let's go out there for a moment. Here we go. I still got to get the ceiling up. This is not the ceiling, guys. If you think that's the ceiling. There is still more of the structure that I have to build, but I'd like to not have to do episode right after episode of building, or episode right after episode of technological work. I'd like to mix it up, you know, adventure here, build there, technology here and there. You know, so yeah, this continues up a little bit more, and we'll do that at another time. But in this little mound, I need to clear this area out and that sheep and set a spot for our windmills. That's what we're building today. So stay tuned as I get rid of all this nonsense, and I'll make some space for us, and then we'll get started right after I bring you back. Alright guys, I'm done. I've built the, or cut out all of the weeds that were growing on top of that little hill, and I've also placed these basalt bricks as a covering 2 layers high above, just to make it look a little bit more industrial like. I've also filled in with some dirt, but we'll put this away for now. I've been trying out some fences, and I want to show you this fence that I've made. Now this is a standard fence, and if you put them next to each other, they look like a white picket fence that you might see at a sort of a rural house, a little house on a prairie or something. A white picket fence, and that doesn't seem to be suitable for what I'm looking for. A more industrial, dingy, dirty kind of feel, abandoned in the middle of a highway type of deal, where the iron is rusting, if at all possible to get it like that. So I found something that doesn't look too ugly and rusty, but doesn't look too bad either. So it has a little bit of flair and beauty to it. So as you can see, I think this might go well with the basalt brick. It looks pretty good. Let me show you how I did it though, in case you want to copy this. What you do is you take some iron plates. Here we go. We'll just make one. Well, make 2. And where are they? Here they are. And you go to your metal former here, and that will make, as you can see, if this ever moves, I took the overclockers out to put them in another machine. That will make an iron fence. Now, we take our chisel and we place the iron fence in the middle. Nope, you know what? I'm confused. It wasn't an iron fence. It was an iron gate. Let's make one. And there we are, 16. That's a stack. We'll make we'll pull up our chisel, put it in the block, and as you can see, you have a nice diversity of choice. This one looks kind of interesting because it looks like that that kind of fence that you climb over at the park. If I were to place it on top like this, let's see if I can. It's hard to aim, it being so thin, the texture. But yeah, that gives a sort of playground, basketball playground type of fence look. Chain link fence, I guess it's called. I'm not going for that either. I'm looking for an industrial feel, sort of like a government feel, not so much a private property feel. So we're going to go with this, and I'm going to place it all around, and then I'll bring you back when I'm done. Alright, I think this will keep the pedestrians out. This is private property after all. And it's a little bit blocky, but I think it'll do the job. It does go well because it's a silver and black, and those are neutral colors that go well together. They go pretty much with anything. So you know how these grays and black and whites usually go well together? Well, that one is fine with me the way it looks. Now what we need to do is get the windmill in progress to get started, because it might take a long time. It's a very difficult build, and I don't know if I've already set the patterns for everything that's needed, but let's take a look. Let's see how far it can get. Let's see. It's called the extreme voltage windmill. Okay. You know, I'm thinking I didn't do it. I probably did the powers that go for it, but I don't think I did the windmills actually. So I'll set a pattern and we'll go further. High voltage, medium voltage. Okay, that's the next one. So we have extreme, we have high, We have we didn't do medium yet, so there's medium. And then now we need low. Just to show you what's involved in the recipe, that's why I'm going through these. Now extreme low. We're talking about something like 256 single windmills. So it will take a long time to do, I'm imagining. We are up to this guy, and I believe we got everything from here on. The powers, I do think I already did the transformers that go within each. But let's give it a try and see where it gets stuck. So we're doing extreme voltage, extreme low voltage. We're doing this one, and let's craft one, and then we'll look at the monitor. So it's missing transformer upgrades. Very simple. Let's see if we can do that. Transformer upgrades, and it's simply glass, basic circuit, insulated gold cable. I think we're gonna have to assemble a bit, and then the MV transformer I'm pretty sure I did do already. So let's add this and see if it can get going. Yes, it did get rid of it, so it's continuing its progress. Now I'm gonna fast forward this part just so you can see the build. Probably not. I can see this is going to take thousands of single steps, so it's going to take a very long time. What I'm going to do now instead is to take you over to that base, that platform, and go ahead and start the iron fence structure that's going to support the windmill up top. So let me build some fences and then I'll bring you back. Alright guys, a little bit of an update. This is what I have so far. A little tower, an electrical tower actually. And I think it's looking nice. It's up to 115 so far as the height. I'm kind of thinking I might have to go higher. I don't know how the code reacts to the power levels of the windmill. But as you can see, it has finished one high voltage already. And it's been maybe 20 minutes. So we got 3 more to go. And this is going super slow. And I forget how many CPUs. Let's take a look. CPU is this one. I have 41 CPUs in here. And yeah, this is going as fast as it can, but yeah, it's a very complicated build, and I'm sure it's going ripping right through my iron. I think I had 15,000 iron, and yeah, there goes another 1,000. I may have to smelt some more, pulverize and then smelt it. I wonder what other things it's using. Okay, the copper is nearly the same. I think well, actually it is going down a bit. Oh, for the wiring, that's true. Yeah, so that's going to be using a lot, and I think I have enough equipment to go ahead and finish the whole project, but it is going to take a long time. It may take a few hours the way it's going, so I will bring you back. I'm going to cut here and then I'll bring you back. Hey guys, I'm back to you. This took 45 minutes, I think. A crazy amount of time, but I had an adventure. Meanwhile, I should have recorded it. Crafted and Blizz went over to the Nether to fight a wither boss and get the Nether star, and it'd be interesting, I think, for your benefit to check out how they were able to defeat the wither boss in case they recorded it. Hopefully they did. If not, they might explain how they got the Nether star, but it was pretty interesting. Yeah, so I encourage you to check out their channels, but we are done. This took a long time, more than a half an hour, almost 45 minutes, I think. Let's take a look. Extreme, and here we are. So we got our voltage, extreme voltage windmill, an output of 2000 EU per tick. Amazing. The great thing about it, now let me explain why I'm doing all of this, but You see I have a high voltage, and you'd think this is good enough. And I think it produces 2000 EU per tick. But here's the problem with it. The mass fab totally annihilates it. This cannot store any energy. Look at this. This is full sun. The sun is perfectly out, and it just can't keep up. Now here's what's even worse. Is that, remember, this does not operate 20 minutes per day, which is the Minecrafty a day, 20 minutes. It only operates for as long as the sun is out, not in the nighttime. So that's 7 minutes wasted, or 13 minutes of use. So the solar panel is not as good as a windmill, which operates 24/7, or actually 20 minutes. Full power for 20 minutes, and there is a certain height restriction. It'll work at any height, but it operates best at about 142 or higher. So I set my pinnacle, or my zenith there, my peak, at 143, just to make sure I'm at least one block higher than that. Alright, so let's set down our stuff. We have to make a rotor though, and I don't know what to make as far as a rotor. We don't have anything set yet. So let's make a rotor. Rotor. Alright, we have a wooden one which will last 144,000 ticks. One that'll last 3.5 million ticks. This is carbon one. Iridium, out of the question, we can't do it. I don't have any iridium. This is the purpose for why I'm building the windmill, is to make iridium with the mass fab. So let's continue. Alloy rotor, which is almost 500,000 ticks. And the last one, let's see, a cloth rotor, 36,000, not even worth it. So we can make the alloy one. A wooden one, I don't know if I like those numbers. Or a carbon, 3 million. I think I'm going to go for this one. So let's make the carbon rotor. Make a code for it. Encode it and place it down. Now we'll set it to start. Craft me one, please. And let's see where it gets stuck. Probably on the carbon plates, yeah. So we're going to need a lot of coal. And I need to macerate them. So what I'll do is grab some of these overclockers. What I'd like to do is maybe make 15 overclockers for each of the machines. This way I don't have to keep rotating them back and forth. It's kind of cheap, you know. So we have some more overclockers here. I'm just going to slap it all in there. Hopefully it won't explode. But yeah, that'll get it going. You see that? And it has an input bus. I put these on temporarily until I can get interfaces for them. They're cheap enough to make. But I still have to figure out how to do it. Got to get some advice on how to do it. So let's grab this coal dust. And hopefully it is enough. Oh, I had some more in there. So we'll make some blocks. This should be good. Yep. Put that back. And now we'll make these. Grab all of them. And now we need to compress them. So we'll slap them in here. Get these overclockers and move them over. Yep, that's flowing. Alright, so we made more than we need to. And let's stick it in here. Hopefully this will get going. It did. So our rotor should be done. Great. Now we need to head up there and install it. Now I'm hoping I don't break this. I don't know. I've never installed one. Haven't worked on it in creative yet. So I don't know if there's any little nuances that I need to know. One thing I would like is for it to have the propeller or the rotor facing this way or this way, hopefully. And I don't know if I can set it. So I will place it in my preferred direction. And it didn't go. It went a different direction. It pointed that way. Which isn't too bad. Well, it kind of is. I didn't want it pointed that way. But from what I understand, there's nothing you can do. You got to go with what it gives you. Nothing you can do. Here we go. Oh, I guess I got to access the GUI internally. So we put the rotor in here. Current output 0. Can I shift click it in there? Ooh, there's something going on. I can't put it in there. Alright, so there's something I'm missing. Extreme voltage may require a certain type of rotor. I don't see anything about it there. You know, I'm going to have to read up on it right now. But let me just tell you what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to connect insulated HV cable straight down this way. We could use glass fiber, but now that the recipe has changed for 1.6.4, you now require a lot of glass. I'm sorry, a lot of diamond to make glass fiber. I have about 500 or 600 diamonds. I could do it. You know, I could go to a certain point, then convert to MJ, which is what I'm planning to do, into a tesseract, and then have that power feed into my mass fab. Ooh, I forgot I'll have to convert again into EU. I may have to hardwire it under the river and go across this way. Guys, I gotta go back to it. Don't you find that this biome is great? I just love this biome so much. It looks so colorful, so nice. I mean, look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Cinematic view. Look how beautiful this is. Well, I'm not going to bore you with that. But anyway. Yeah, I might go under the river and then hardwire it directly. The problem with that is that you get some loss of energy. But remember, this is 2000 EU. And I could combine it with the high voltage. So I think I have more power than I need. And it's not that long a run, but I don't know how much loss I would have. With HV cable, there's not much loss. With glass, there's virtually no loss. So, but to get from there to here, that's a lot of diamonds. I don't think I want to spend my diamonds on that. Even though I'm not using the diamonds for anything, but I'm rambling now. So, what I'm going to do is bring you back when I have something more substantial as far as putting a rotor up there and thinking about the wiring. Be right back. Alright everybody, we've built a rotor. A different kind of rotor. Now apparently for the extreme voltage you can't use carbon. It'll work on some other kinds of windmills. But for the extreme voltage, at minimum, you can use the alloy or the iridium. So there we are. We have a rotor. We have a full working windmill that is not connected yet. But there it is, pointing in a direction that I don't want it to point. But there it is. Well, off camera, I'm going to run the wire. And I'm not going to bore you with that because all it is just a straight run. And I'm going to bump some heads with some people to see what they would suggest. But I think what I will be doing, if nobody has a better idea, is to just run the wire directly. Go straight across. I don't see a better way to go from EU to an EU machine from this distance. I mean, I could do the consumer producer type thing and convert the energy, but one, we'll get loss, and two, we'll get loss. I guess that's really the only reason. I don't want to lose that much power, and you'd be only, I think it's 75%. You'd only be getting 75% of the power that you're changing or interpreting into the MJ and then to the EU again. So it's 75% down and then 75% further to go into those two changes. I don't think I want to do that. Now from this distance it looks like it doesn't render. It may be because my render distance is set to normal. Yeah, right about here is where it starts. Let's see if I set to render distance high. And in this lush green biome, I don't think my computer can handle it without being stressed, but we'll give it a try. We are set to far, so I'm running full, just as anybody else would, and it still doesn't render. I guess this island is just a little bit too far away for it to render. But all I really care about is the energy that we'll be getting for our mass fab, so I'm happy. Well, it's been a long one, and I'm going to call it quits at this point, and I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all later.